happy lunar eclipse and supermoon in Pisces. This super full moon at approximately 25.5 degrees of Pisces became exact at 10:34 p.m. New York time on Tuesday, September 17, 2024, and this was 2:34 Greenwich Mean Time on September 18th. The partial lunar eclipse reached its apex just about 10 minutes later at 10:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, New York time. That's 2:44 Greenwich Mean Time on September 18th. This is the first eclipse of a series of two in this current eclipse season. Lunar eclipses always coincide with full moons. A lunar eclipse is like a supercharged full moon as it sets the stage for the next 6 months. This eclipse is also supermoon, meaning the moon is much closer to the Earth than usual, thus amplifying its power even further. During eclipse season, we receive energetic downloads, we could call these codes, that serve to unravel what we no longer need to carry with us, while also redirecting us in the direction of our highest destiny in this life. Eclipse season is an unsettled time when everything is undergoing recalibration. It is an uncertain time, and it is certainly a time to expect the unexpected. This is a north node eclipse as the moon is in the final decan of Pisces, making a very wide out-of-sign conjunction with the north node in the first decan of Aries. North node eclipses have to do with directing us or redirecting us toward our highest destiny in this life. This eclipse begins a series of eclipses on the Pisces-Virgo axis, the next being the March 13th, 14th total lunar eclipse in Virgo. The north node moves into Pisces on January 11th, the true north node that is, and then we have our final eclipse on the Aries-Libra axis, the final one for the cycle, occurring on March 29th. So this eclipse essentially serves as a preview and a portal opening to usher in the energy of the lunar nodes being in Pisces and Virgo. On a global scale, the north node in Aries has been largely about war. The north node squares Mars and Gemini right now, inflaming conflict around the globe, but also on a personal scale, causing petty interpersonal conflicts, and more on this later. The north node in Pisces, on the other hand, will have a lot to do with culture and communication. If you think life has become strange over the past decade with everyone now addicted to their iPhones, just wait, as during the north node in Pisces time, which will be mid-January 2025 through mid-July 2026, the way that we communicate with one another will likely fundamentally shift. Handheld phones could swiftly shift to devices worn on the body. Also, we will see much more attention paid to culture, including music, art, and fashion. Old-fashioned trends very well may reemerge, and new innovative forms of art, holograms maybe, will enter the cultural ambiance. Pisces is the realm of fantasy and even fanaticism. It is likely that the geopolitical conflicts that began just or before or during the North Node Aries time will not only continue, but grow in magnitude. How fitting it is that the Israel-Hezbollah conflict intensified yesterday, with Israel blowing up Hezbollah's communication devices, considering what I just forecast for the North Node of Pisces time, right? Pretty appropriate with regards to communication and fanaticism. Every full moon is an opportunity to attempt to find balance between the two polarities that we're working with, so in this case, Pisces and Virgo. But we especially have a powerful opportunity now to work with this polarity, with it being an eclipse and a supermoon. Pisces is the ruler of the 12th house, the house of the unconscious. This house is the home of all the unseen realms, including the unconscious mind and the dream world. Pisces' glyph is two fish swimming in opposite directions. We can say that the space in the middle of the two fish is the unseen realm. The fish swimming in the opposite directions can also represent indecision and duality. Pisces is ruled by dreamy, ethereal Neptune. The theme of Pisces and Neptune include dreams, visions, all things psychic and intuitive, the unconscious mind, creativity, the arts, and emotions. It is totally normal to be feeling extra creative, extra intuitive, extra sensitive, and extra emotional around this full moon and in the days to come following it. As a mutable water sign, one of the lessons that Pisces teaches us is how to shift, change, and grow gracefully. Pisces has no problems being totally different from one moment to the next, just as water has no qualms when gravity funnels it from a wide, flowing, peaceful river into a ferocious and stunning waterfall. Virgo, on the other hand, where the sun is all about keeping things in order, in Virgo, where the sun is all about keeping things in order and micromanaging. Virgo is the ruler of the 6th house, the house of health. This house is the realm of health, daily routines, and repetitive tasks, including those that are involved in work and career. And if you want to know more about Virgo, check out the most recent podcast before this one here on the Higher Self channel, or wherever you're getting this podcast, about the new moon in Virgo. So the link for that is in the pinned comment if you're listening on the Higher Self channel, or just go back to the last video. So with this Pisces eclipse, we're being challenged to find a middle road in alchemy between the right and left brains, intuition and logic, and surrendering to a flow and micromanaging. Pisces is here to remind us that things will never be the same from one day to the next, and by resisting the flow of the universe, it'll only cause you pain. People, relationships, experiences, possessions, money, feelings, emotions, problems, and celebrations will all come and go. The lesson of water is in the transient nature of all things. Water always exists, but it is always flowing from one place to another. Even if it evaporates, it will soon fall to the ground as water once again. Here's some questions of contemplation to think about or journal on to go along with this Pisces eclipse. And you can get the article version of this podcast by going to the pinned comment and clicking on that link, the article link, and it has all of the podcast questions, the journal questions written out. Also, of course, feel free to just pause the podcast in between the questions as well. What if everything is working out exactly as it is meant to? What would it feel like if I were to go with the flow of life just a little bit more? What if I really don't know as much about life as I thought I did? Could I let life be just a little bit more of a mystery? What if I spent a little less energy trying to control life and trusted a little more in the universe to bring me exactly what I need in all moments? Could I allow myself to feel all of my emotions as they come? What makes me feel sensual? How can I expand my sensuality? What makes me feel creative? How can I expand my creativity? And much more on creativity later. It's also a good idea now to set intentions for the next 6 months. Ask yourself, if all went well and my highest possible timeline were to unfold, what would I want to see manifest in my life over the next 6 months? And make a list. Having deep, difficult conversations. Mercury is at home in Virgo, which makes us want to be precise and thorough in our communication. It opposes the retrograde Saturn in Pisces, which is causing us to have deep, real, and sometimes difficult conversations with those who are important to us, be it partners, family, friends, and even ex-partners and colleagues. Mars in chatty Gemini is squaring the North Node right now, bringing up petty interpersonal conflicts. Saturn is the ruler of karma, and it is going to dig up all that needs to be addressed, especially the deep stuff that really stems from other lifetimes in the context of relationships of all types. This energy is making us be brave and face things head on. The key to navigating the difficult things that are going to come up over the next few weeks is open-hearted honesty. If you can courageously express yourself honestly and also listen with an open heart to what the other person has to say, you'll find that the rough stuff, the nasty stuff that gets brought up during this time ends up being a blessing, as will allow the energy to clear and refine in the context of the relationship, allowing the relationship to graduate to the next level. Venus is at home in relationship-oriented Libra, where it naturally wants to resolve things, find balance, and make amends. Think the Temperance card in the tarot. It is opposing the retrograde Chiron in Aries, meaning that although Venus's current modus operandi is to find resolution, it will not do so at the expense of sweeping things under the rug. What needs to be talked about and addressed needs to be talked about and addressed. Ask yourself this question: if I were to be totally honest and had no fear of the consequences of my honesty, what do I need to express to this person? And also ask yourself, how can I be more of compassionate, patient, and an open-hearted listener? How can I be more of a compassionate, patient, and open-hearted listener? For those relationships of any type that are nearing or at the end of their soul contract, the stuff that comes up during this eclipse season may serve to bring the relationship to an end. If that is what ends up happening, know that that is what was meant to be. Art, creativity, and journaling. Pisces is the most artistic sign in the zodiac, ruling over the creative aspect of art. We have a wonderful grand Earth trine right now between Pluto in Capricorn, Uranus in Taurus, and the Sun in Virgo. And Pluto and Uranus are retrograde. The retrograde Neptune is at home in Pisces, joining in, making a minor grand trine with Pluto and Uranus to form a kite. So it's a kite formation at the head, being Neptune, at the tail being the Sun. And then you've got to either side Pluto and Uranus. Neptune is providing the artistic energy, Pluto is providing the emotional energy, and Uranus is providing the creative energy, and the Sun is illuminating all of it. It's a great time to express your soul's feelings, desires, and insight through art and creativity. So now is a great time to make some art or to go to an art gallery and enjoy gazing at some art. With the Sun being in Virgo at the tail of the kite is also a wonderful time to express ourselves creatively through words, poetry, creative writing, journaling, or just an everyday speech. With all the other planets involved being retrograde, we are also talking about the past a lot, reminiscing and nostalgia, and reforming our viewpoints on how we relate to our past experiences. It can be helpful to work this stuff out through the context of art and journaling. Addictions exacerbated and resurfacing. The Sun and Moon formed a T-square with Jupiter in the mutable Gemini on this full moon. The T-square is 5 degrees of orb, but since it's a supermoon and eclipse, all the aspects that are being made to this new moon or to this moon are greatly amplified. Venus, which rules over pleasure, is at home in Libra, trining Jupiter. One of the shadow aspects of Jupiter in Gemini is overindulgence and addiction. With these aspects, we are likely to be chasing dopamine and pleasure. People are indulging around this time, often to their own detriment. If you're an addict or an ex-addict, please take care around this time. This includes alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, video games, or anything else that one might consider an addiction. If you're someone who has suffered with addiction or someone close to you has suffered or is suffering with addiction, please email me at youaredivinehuman@gmail.com. That's youaredivinehuman@gmail.com, all spelled out. Also, my email is in the pinned comment here on the Higher Self channel. And ask for a copy of my very helpful Addiction Relief for Lightworkers Masterclass. Federal Reserve aggressively cuts interest rates. The Federal Reserve, or Fed colloquially, of the U.S. made a surprising announcement yesterday when they decided to aggressively cut interest rates by a half of a point, 50 basis points, signaling that inflation has slowed enough to make a soft landing of the economy plausible. Jupiter's T-square with the Sun and Moon provided the impetus for this aggressive action, perhaps, one that could potentially have precarious consequences. The last 2 times the Fed began a rate cut cycle with an aggressive cut like this, a 50 basis point cut, the economy essentially crashed soon thereafter, the most recent example being 2008. And of course, 2008 was the beginning of Pluto's time in Capricorn, and now we are at the other bookend, the conclusion of Pluto's time in Capricorn. Once mid-November comes about, Pluto ingresses into Aries, and it won't come back into Capricorn for, an entire cycle. So we shall see what happens this time. But it's possible that Jupiter's influence in this full moon chart did cause the Fed to overstep. And of course, it's all meant to be. The planets are just setting up a template for what occurs, and it's up to the individuals and all of the parties involved. But it does make sense if you look at Jupiter's influence that maybe they overstepped, and we shall see. Embracing the mystery of it all. The universe, my friends, is the ultimate teacher. Taking part in the Earth game requires the utilization of an ego, which is a vehicle used to navigate the journey. The ego is the you that thinks, speaks, and animates the body. Though, of course, there's also a deeper you that comes out to play sometimes, and this is called the soul. One of the many illusions of ego occurs when someone believes they've figured it all out. As the spiritual journey is designed to break down all of the ego's structures and defense mechanisms, this will usually, through the law of attraction, cause the universe to create surprises in your life. Uranus is the home of surprises, which is very active in this chart, as we said, which actually, will then make you feel confused and lost, but it's all by design. When surprises happen in life and it leads someone into a place of confusion, depression, or feeling lost, it's sometimes referred to as a dark night of the soul. The quickest evolution of the spiritual journey happens experientially, not conceptually. The fastest evolution occurs when things go wrong or when life doesn't go the way you want it to. When that happens, we can choose to remain bitter and to believe that things should have happened differently, an illusion of ego thinking it knows better than the universe, or we can harness the energy of Pisces and ride the flow of water toward where life wants to take us, which is not necessarily where we want to take life. Every time I've thought that I had life all figured out and I have my whole future planned out and handed to me on a silver platter, every single time the universe has said, not so fast, and thrown me surprises. It's a humbling reminder to never be too sure of your future. It is healthy to set goals and to imagine an amazing future for yourself. However, it's best to detach yourself from attachment to details and allow the universe to fill those in for you, lest you find yourself confused and disappointed when things turn out differently than you'd imagined. Like John Lennon famously said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. When things don't work out the way you'd hope, or when life throws you unexpected curveballs, surprises, or problems to solve, it is always an opportunity to allow yourself to be further humbled. It's certainly okay to have goals, visions, aspirations about your life, and opinions and theories about politics, life, God, the universe, or whatever you're interested in. However, ultimately, life is a mystery, and the more that we allow it to be that, the easier it is to be at peace. And I just want to comment that this is something I notice a ton with my clients. People that are high achievers in life, people that have achieved incredible, feats in their life, or in the context of spirituality, people that have, 50 certifications of different energy healing techniques, or different psychic schools, or whatever. People that have achieved a lot more, fame and kind of objective success, if there is an objective measure of success, than myself. But a common thread I see, not everyone, but so many of my clients, and a lot of you listening are my clients, right, is that there's too much of an attachment to what is going to happen and when. When will that partner come? Finally. When will my health get better? Finally. Will I have this new job? Will I get paid for this thing? Will this thing work out? Will there be a flood that makes me have to move? And it's okay to get psychic readings, and psychic readings are the realm of Pisces. And if no one wanted psychic readings, I'd be out of a job. So it's fine to get readings, but you should always allow the caveat, that question mark, the proverbial question mark, that question mark that permeates throughout reality, throughout all realities, really. That question mark, the question mark as a symbol, this is very Virgoan to think about this. It's a very Virgoan / Pisces axis thing to go where I'm going with this. But the symbol, the question mark itself, is so crucial. It's so crucial to happiness and peace and health, to allow that question mark. Because that question mark emerges, the way I see it, from the God source itself. That question mark it's the fabric of what life is that it's meant to be a mystery. And especially life in the third density, the third dimension here, where there's so much uncertainty and there's so much danger. You can get taken out at any time by anything here. An air conditioner could, God forbid, fall on your head and you're done. A train could derail, God forbid, and you're done. There's that proverbial question mark even about the safety of your existence here. And it's just a crucial element of what this third density is meant to be. And at the higher realms, certainty may be more accessible, but even with certainty being more accessible, it doesn't make everything certain. And so many of the stories that the Syrians, who I channel, have relayed to me involve 3D type experiences where they thought this would happen and then this happened. They were wrong, or they were off by a bit. The soul. You would think that the soul on the surface would plan out lifetimes with absolute perfection, that the canvas that the soul paints would have no errors. It would be a perfect program, like a computer program that runs without any errors. And how many do? Almost none. How many times does your Microsoft Word or your PowerPoint or your Adobe Photoshop or your Audacity crash? It happens all the time. Why do they keep coming out with updates? How many times your iPhone? So like even, programs, computer programs, which yes are crafted by humans, but now in the modern era, it's a fusion of humans and AI, have errors. And if computer programs aren't even perfect, is anything perfect? The God source is perfect. But even when a soul plans out a lifetime, there's room for error. The soul does the best that it can to plan out the lifetime, but it may not be completely exact. And there's an element of free will. There's an element of, let's see what happens when I'm born into the physical. Let's see what happens. So that question mark, that mystery of life, I'd really implore you, if you're going to take the biggest thing out of this, obviously every one of these podcasts is impactful. Those of you that listen to this podcast religiously, I'd imagine it's really helped you, because there's a lot of impactful information and questions of self-inquiry in this. And if you could take maybe the biggest thing out of this being embracing the mystery, embracing the question mark, the proverbial question mark, which is a feature of life itself. I mentioned the dark night of the soul, right? And when you find yourself in that confusion, you find yourself unsure, it's a wonderful breaking point. My Saturn return in 2016, I went from being sure about everything to sure about nothing, or one or two things at the most. And it was my ego being completely broken down. So that's what happens. And this is all Pisces in the 12th house. The 12th house is endings. So when you have an ego death, which I absolutely had in 2016, and when that happens, it's a 12th house feature, could be said. And it allows you to reemerge in the first house with a new self, a new personality, right? Matthew John was born on my first Saturn return in 2016. And before that, I was just Matthew or Matt. So that ego death is the point of the dark night of the soul. And we have several dark nights of the soul, and we have several ego deaths, and every ego death is a new ego birth of the next version of self that we were meant to be. But it's all about surrender. When you were able to enter into a deeper state of surrender, then it allows, as each of these subsequent dark nights, these ego deaths occur, it allows for the parts of ego, those pieces that you no longer need, they're no longer necessary to go back to source, so to speak, to dissolve, if you will. And it allows more of the light of the soul to enter into you. And so much of the spiritual journey, the ascension journey, really is this transition from ego to soul. And as we go along the journey, more and more of our soul shines through. We become the personality of our soul. Our soul has a personality too, which again, it's the imperfection of it all on top of the perfection of it all. So we become more of that soul with each subsequent dark night. So if you're in a dark night right now, it is such a blessing. And you'll emerge out of it, I promise you. For some of you, it'll take a week. For some of you, it'll take a decade. And so much of, that is it's an interplay between what your soul planned for the dark night and your free will, how quickly you learn. And I do have so many teaching tools to help you get through the dark night. I have a webinar specifically called Navigating the Dark Night of the Soul. And you can email me for that as well. That and or the Addiction Relief for Lightworkers one. Again, youaredivinehuman@gmail.com. youaredivinehuman@gmail.com. Another lesson, Pisces, is in the teaching of neutrality. Water is neither good nor bad. It simply is. And it is mutable. Water is necessary for life. However, heated to a boil, it will burn your skin. No event in our life is good nor bad. It simply is. And it's part of a much larger picture that we cannot possibly see. To relay this point, I want to share a Zen story from Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. Once upon a time, there was an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day, his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. "Such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "Maybe," the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned. "Hooray, bring it with it 3 other wild horses." "How wonderful," the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," replied the old man. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown, and broke his leg. The neighbors again came to offer their sympathy on his misfortune. "Maybe," answered the farmer. The day after, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer on how well things had turned out. "Maybe," said the farmer. Nothing is ever good or bad. Each and every moment is both an ending and a new beginning. Be like water and embrace the mystery, the question mark of it all. Letting go of judgment. Pisces is the sign of duality, thus the fish swimming in different directions. The shadow side of Pisces is judgment. When you consciously work on letting go of judgment of your journey, including how in your mind you compare or line up with others who are on a similar path, you are transcending the Piscean duality and elevating more into the unity consciousness of the Aquarian age. And just a reminder, coming from an insider, coming from someone who's in the New Age industry and has been for many years, there is zero correlation between someone's popularity, fame, wealth, and how enlightened they actually are. Zero. Judgment of anything tends to hold it in place, whether this is an internal pattern of thought, a habit, a physical issue, or a bothersome life situation. Although this can sometimes seem like a cruel twist, it most certainly has a positive intention. We are being taught to move from duality to non-duality, to love the shadow self as much as the more enlightened self. Anything less than that unconditional love and acceptance will usually cause whatever is being judged to stubbornly stay in place. Oh, the irony. We are here to learn to accept ourselves fully, as well as to learn to come into alignment with the isness of life, learning to accept and ultimately be grateful for whatever blessings, triumphs, trials, and tribulations the omniscient universe grants us. A wonderful question to ponder is this: what if everything that happens in my life is always for my greater good no matter what? And if this were really true, would that change the way that you think about life? Would it put you at peace? Here's some other questions to ask yourself or preferably journal on during this Pisces eclipse time. What am I still holding against myself? What am I still holding against the world? What have I not yet been willing to forgive myself for? What have I not yet been willing to forgive others for? What bothers me or repulses me about the outside world? Is there anything about the outside world that I judge that I also tend to judge in myself? Can I acknowledge that there's divinity in darkness? Can I see the divinity in my own shadow aspects? Could I come to just a little bit more acceptance to those things about myself that I've not been able to come to accept fully or come to peace with? Could I bring just a little bit more acceptance to those things about myself that I feel others judge me for? Could I bring just a little bit more acceptance to my exact life circumstances as they are right here, right now? What if everything is actually going as planned? Could I bring just a little bit more acceptance to what is going on in the world right now? What if everything is actually going as planned? And boy, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? What if all of this violence and greed and deception and darkness going on in the world is actually all by design, by higher design? Leave a question mark there. Pisces and its ruler Neptune have a lot to do with intuition and all things psychic and mystical. And let's dive into that now. Your third eye in the dream world. Oftentimes I get asked by people whether their third eye is open or closed and how to open it. Well, first of all, almost everyone's third eye chakra is open to some extent. The third eye chakra is not only in charge of clairvoyance, but is also associated with the quality of your thoughts and your decision making. It can be said that all potential realities come through the back of your third eye. You ponder the decisions in your mind, and then the choices you make come out the front of your third eye chakra. So yes, the third eye chakra is more of a function than just clairvoyance. It is also used to visualize and imagine. If you have trouble visualizing, then that could be an indication that your third eye chakra is not operating in its optimal function. I kind of liken the third eye to a shipping dock that handles both imports and exports. You can export by visualizing or imagining, or you can import by seeing or receiving visions. It's two different functions of the same mechanism. So in order to open up the importing function of the third eye, it can be very helpful to practice more and more with the exporting function. Visualize. Do guided meditations as much as you can. Or simply set your intention to connect to a place or a period of time. It could be Lemuria, it could be ancient Egypt, it could be the Pleiades, it could be your own future, and allow yourself to be taken there. But in your own if it's your own future, allow that question mark. This takes a lot of practice, and you'll likely doubt yourself. There's really no clear answer on how to know whether what you're seeing with your third eye is real or illusory, as both fall into the realm of Neptune. So use your intuition, also Neptune, but also ask whether what you saw makes sense. Keep a healthy skeptic's mindset, at least in the back of your mind. Perhaps what you're seeing is totally real and accurate. Perhaps it's somewhat real and accurate, or perhaps it's an illusion. What does your intuition say afterward? What does your logical mind say afterward? Use input from both to form an opinion on the accuracy of your third eye experience. Another great way to get in touch with the Neptune-ness of this eclipse is to keep a dream journal. I find my dream world to be so fun and so fascinating. I often don't want to wake up because I want to see where the dream will take me next. If I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, when I lay back down, I'm excited to re-enter the dream, hopefully where it left off, like I just hit the pause button on my remote control while watching a movie. I believe that in the dream world, we are living out alternate realities that we can't experience in the physical world. Oftentimes, these alternate realities have a correlation with our physical lives, which is why we can sometimes find symbolism and precognition in our dreams. Sometimes I find meanings in my dreams, while oftentimes I just see my dream world adventures as fun or interesting experiences. If you really want to get serious about interpreting your dreams, and keep a dream journal, and don't take anything from a dream book or a YouTube video or webpage about dream symbols at face value. Dream interpretation is extremely complex and personal, and I'm really good at it. So if you have if you have a reading schedule with me coming up, feel free to ask me. Or of course, feel free to join Ascending as One and get a reading with me. Sometimes it's just one or two symbols in a dream that are the really relevant parts when it comes to interpretation, but the theme and the feeling of the dream must be taken into account as well. And most importantly, how you felt about the symbols during the dream. And if you'd like to purchase my dream interpretation webinar for just $33, email me, youaredivinehuman@gmail.com. That's youaredivinehuman@gmail.com. And by the way, if anyone wants a bundle of the dream interpretation, Navigating the Dark Night of the Soul, and the Addiction Relief for Lightworkers, I will absolutely do a discount for all three. Email me. Sometimes we're simply living out alternate realities, and there's no need to find symbolism or meanings in your dreams. Use a fusion of logic and intuition to decide which is the case. Wishing you a happy eclipse and supermoon in Pisces. With love, this is Matthew John. Thank you for listening. Before you go, hey, stop. I need a favor. Hit that like button, okay? Please. As if you look at the view counts, they're not what they used to be. So hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button so YouTube takes this as far as it can go on YouTube. And remember, all my links are in the pinned comment. So right below the description box, there's a pinned comment. It has all my links to my website, my email, the link to the most recent Virgo New Moon podcast, the link to the Peru retreat info, which I'm going to go over in a second, and my Instagram and everything else you need. So go to the pinned comment for all my links. As I just mentioned, Peru, I have a deadline for the early bird enrollment for Peru. And the early bird enrollment is really important because you save 20%. And for this retreat, which is a little bit pricier than my normal retreats, because it's in Peru and because it's 8 to 10 days, depending on which options you choose, the 20% makes a huge difference. So it is a hard deadline, October 1st. You got to email me before then and put down a deposit. If you want to do the 8-day option, it is $1,000 deposit. If you want to do the 10-day option, which includes an extension to Lake Titicaca, which is the sacral chakra of planet Earth. It's a really important place. It's $1,250 for that deposit. So the Peru retreat includes everything, all of your accommodations, all of your meals, all of the excursions, including excursions to Machu Picchu, including excursion to Temple of the Moon on horseback, including the UFO Museum, including the famous Sistine Chapel of South America, the Andoahias Church, including yoga and Qigong sessions every day, including all of the sessions with me and with a Kiro shaman as well. It is such a cool itinerary. This is going to be the coolest retreat I've ever put on, and I've put on some great ones so far. But day one, you're going to get greetings from the Inca King and Queen at the airport, a welcome luncheon with live band and Quechuan dancers. We're going to do a wonderful group session setting the stage for the week, setting our intentions, dinner with live music, a trance channeling session at night with me, and then an optional spa treatment or just snacks and fun conversation at night. Day two, breakfast, morning Qigong, a group past life regression. Those are so cool to do. Lunch, a guided tour of the Saskyaman archaeological site on horseback, including the Temple of the Moon. Dinner with live music, gallery-style mediumship with me at night. I'm going to bring through messages from Spirit for you. And then snacks and conversation or optional spa treatment. Day three, breakfast, morning yoga, group energy healing. You're going to get energy healing from the angelic team I work with. Lunch, exploring a Pisac archaeological site and Napa church known for ancient energy. dinner with live music, snacks and conversation, group stargazing and UFO watching. Day 4, breakfast, morning qigong, a full-day visit to a Quechua village with a Quechuan-speaking guide. Includes traditional lunch, traditional weaving, traditional farming, giving gifts to the kids. Dinner with live music, a group starseed discovery session. Yes, a group astral journey to our home planets. Snacks and conversation or optional spa treatment. Day 5, after breakfast, a full-day Machu Picchu excursion. If you're not aware, I'm sure you are, but Machu Picchu is one of the most important and most spectacular archaeological sites on planet Earth, full of ancient energy, the ancient codes that were left over from way before Lemurian and Atlantean times, full of all sorts of extraterrestrial carvings and extraterrestrial imprints, let's say, in Machu Picchu. Day 6, breakfast, a full day visit to the very famous Sistine Chapel of South America, the Ando Hayas Church, and the UFO Museum as well. Dinner with live music, snacks, live music, and stargazing UFO watching at night. Day 7, breakfast, morning yoga, discovering your deepest purpose with me, lunch, and then a full day of readings. You're going to get a reading with me and a session. He does tea leaf readings. He does other types of traditional readings with a Kiro shaman. So you're going to get both reading with me and with the Kiro shaman. Dinner with live music, and then our night session, ascending in the 5th dimension, and then snacks and conversation or optional spa treatment at night. Day 8, breakfast, stepping in your highest timeline, and then a street food excursion for lunch and a full tour of Cusco and to the San Pedro market for souvenirs. For those that are flying back that night, you'll have a transfer to the airport. And for those that are coming with the rest of the group, for the extension, the 3-day extension to Lake Titicaca, we'll be flying, and that your airfare is included. We'll be flying to Puno, and then on that day 9, we will have a full day tour via boat of Lake Titicaca, including activations with myself, dinner at night, and then day 10, it will be a full day exploration of the big famous door, the big famous arch. You may have seen this on Ancient Aliens, okay? But it was recently discovered, and it's thought to be a portal to another dimension. And hopefully none of us will end up in that other dimension. But I'm so excited to explore. It's again, excuse the pronunciation, Aramururu, I believe is what it's called. And then there will be a transfer to the airport to go back to wherever you are coming from. So the extension includes the hotel, includes the meals, and it includes the airfare to Puno as well. So this is going to be an experience of a lifetime. Okay, an experience of a lifetime. Enrollment has been really good. I've got a lot of signups so far, but there's no real cap for this retreat, which is good. I'm working with a very good tour company run by an American that lives in Peru, and they're able to accommodate as many as we want to bring. So unlike my other retreats where there is a cap, there really isn't a cap for this. So I'll take as many people that want to come. You can come. There's single and double rooms available. I'm happy to do a totally free consultation via phone. If you're interested in the retreat and you have questions, I will take as long as you need and answer all your questions. Email me, youaredivinehuman@gmail.com. Okay, or again, my email is in the pinned comment below. Also, the link to click on the retreat brochure is in the pinned comment below as well. Or you can go to my website. My website is in the pinned comment, youaredivinehuman.org, and click on the course events and retreats page. And email me if you want a free consultation, or if you're ready to sign up and you want to put a deposit down. The deposits are fully refundable if your plans change. So It's something I offer that literally no one else offers in my industry. Okay, everywhere else you go, it says, oh, non-refundable. No, it's refundable, okay, by a very reasonable date if your plans change. So I make it really, really easy, affordable, and risk-free to come on my retreats. And those of you that have been on my retreats, you know what I'm talking about. So, again, email me if you want to set up a free consultation or if you're ready to jump in. And also, my Ascending as One program is resuming in October, okay, after an off month. My Ascending as One program, that's my signature Ascension Mentorship program. We meet on Sundays for 3-hour group calls. First hour is astrology, where I go much more in depth than I do here. I go into the day-to-day, what's coming every day of the week, all of the aspects that are being made, and you get downloadable notes to be able to have to print out or to have on your phone so you know how to navigate each day of the week. I answer all your astrological questions, and we go into the topic for the week. October 6th is Healing Your Masculine Father Wounds. October 12th, that's a VIP call on a Saturday. That's Ancient Mysteries and Syrian Channeling. As I mentioned, I channel the Syrians, and you can ask the Syrians your questions on the call, which is really, really cool. And the channelings are long and thorough, and the Syrians will answer as many questions as I have energy for. Then October 13th, Refining Your Intuition, and October 20th, Tarot 101. So it's going to be a great month of Ascending as One, as it always is. I do readings sometimes at the end of calls. I do Q&As, and we do EFT tapping on each call, which people love. And they're very healing. That Healing Your Masculine Father Wounds call, you're going to heal some deep wounds you've been carrying with you from the masculine figures in your ancestral lineage and from past lives where you played masculine characters that may have accumulated karma. So that's going to be a really powerful call, as they all are. Fill out the form on that Course Events and Retreats page to join Ascending as One. I have 1 and 3 month options available, and VIP gets you a private reading with me as well. And you can ask me literally anything in the private reading. So if you want to talk to me one-on-one, sign up for Ascending as One VIP. It includes a private reading with me during October. So during the month of October, you'll get a private reading. All right, and everything else is on my website. I also offer full-length private sessions, starseed discovery sessions, angel energy healing soul retrieval sessions, soul plan readings, spiritual mentoring sessions and packages, past life regressions, future self progressions, and medical intuitive readings and chakra scans. All the info is on my website. Availability is very limited for the full-length sessions. So if you want one before the end of 2024, make sure you book soon. The 20-minute readings are much more accessible. So if you join Ascending as One for October as a VIP member, I will do my best to get you in October. And at the very latest, it would be in November. All right, everyone. So any questions about anything, email me, youredivinehuman@gmail.com. Please remember to leave a comment. The comments really help the algorithm as well. Let me know what was most impactful about this podcast. Let me know if you're excited about this Pisces full moon and eclipse. How are you feeling? You feeling the powerful energy? And let me know if you're being creative or artistic in any way. All right, until next time, I will talk to you guys upcoming on the solar eclipse slash new moon that is going to take place in Libra. So until then, everyone, please remember to be kind to yourself, to be kind to others, to be kind to animals, and to be kind to the earth. With love, this is Matthew John.